Alright, now for my favorite weapon category, the magnums. And the first one is the broken butterfly. What a name.
I see you have an eye for things. Gun's not just about shooting. It's about reloading. You'll know what I'm talking about.
A very powerful 45 Magnum revolver. This will make anyone's day. Oh, I bet it will. God, just look at that quality. They put a lot of effort into making this HD. Alright, let's test it out. Alright, you might think me crazy, but I'm going to test the magnums on Vitoris Mendez, the big cheese boss. And the reason I'm gonna do this is because I did a lot of pre-recording before this final clip, and I found out testing the magnum on enemies is freaking difficult, because there's not an appropriate enemy that's neither too powerful nor too weak. It's just, I originally was gonna test it on chainsaw gun autos, but my previous review proves that that's not going to work because both the Broken Butterfly and the Killer 7 Magnum take 6 shots no matter how upgraded it is, even with headshots and if they're not grounded. So someone's theory that I didn't do headshots on the Chainsaw Magini is the reason why it always took 6 shots is freaking wrong, and you need to get your facts straight. So that wasn't going to work. Then I wanted to test it on the Vistadors, and that worked for the Broken Butterfly. I took 2 shots unupgraded, then 1 shot fully upgraded, then I tried the Killer 7. Killer 7 unupgraded takes only 1 shot, so that's not gonna work, because I have my own personal rule that never test it on enemies if it only takes 1 shot. Then it's not an appropriate enemy. So, with the current game saves I have, this is my only option, is to test it on a boss. I feel like this will go just fine, so we're gonna test the magnums on Vitoris Mendez. So here we go. First, the Broken Butterfly unupgraded. Now see, that wasn't too bad. Alright, so 13 shots from the Broken Butterfly to take down Vitoris Mendez, unupgraded. Now let's try fully upgraded. Oh shit, alright. Only 4 shots from the Broken Butterfly, fully upgraded to take down the big cheese. Alright, that shows this Magnum is freaking powerful when fully upgraded. I almost failed to mention, you can get this Magnum for free at some point in the castle area. It's right after you rescue Ashley for the first time after she activates the trap. And you have to backtrack a little bit to this area where there was a locked door. And you have to boost Ashley up through a window and she'll unlock it for you. And it's a room full of chests and the Broken Butterfly is in one of them. Alright, that is it for the Broken Butterfly Magnum. Now for the next Magnum, the Killer 7. A very stable yet powerful 45 Magnum. Man, the people were lazy with the descriptions in this game. What the hell? Alright, that thing looks similar to the Colt 1911, but it's used in the form of a Magnum in this game, unlike Resident Evil 0 where it was a handgun. I'm pretty sure Killer 7 is a reference to another game or like something in game media. I'm not sure. Someone who knows what it is, you could put in the comments or whatever. But anyway, let's test it out. Alright, so like Resident Evil 4 onward, they always have 3 magnums. A revolver, a clip type magnum, and a hand cannon of some sort. Well, except in Resident Evil 6, there's only 2 magnums in that one. But anyway, this magnum has a higher starting firepower than the Broken Butterfly, and also reloads faster. It is the only upgradable weapon without an exclusive upgrade. So in the end, the Broken Butterfly is more powerful than the Killer 7 because when it's fully upgraded, it has a firepower of 50, while when the Killer 7 is fully upgraded, it only has a firepower of 35. Everything else, though, is pretty much exactly the same. Alright, let's test the Killer 7 on Vitoris Mendez. so 6 shots from the Killer 7 unupgraded to take down the Big Cheese. That proves right there it's more powerful than the Broken Butterfly at the starting firepower. Alright, now let's test it fully upgraded. Alright, so only 5 shots to take down Betoris Mendez when fully upgraded. So there you go, now the Broken Butterfly is more powerful when it comes to fully upgrading. Everything about the Killer 7 is related to 7 in some way, almost. Like, it costs 77,700 pesetas, and the starting capacity is 7, and the ending capacity is 14. I'm not sure what it sells for, it's like half the price or something, but there's just a lot of 7s in this weapon all around. So basically, if you want to differentiate between these two magnums, I'd say the Broken Butterfly is good for power buffs, and the Killer 7 is good for stability buffs. But we're not done with the magnums yet. Wait until you see what's next. Alright, now for the final magnum, the Handcannon.
Stranger, what you need that for? Going hunting an elephant?
This is the 50 Magnum. Need we say more? Probably not. Just looking at this thing, you can tell it's a monster. This is the hardest weapon to get in the game, in my opinion, because the requirement to get this, you have to play Mercenaries mode, and you have to get a 5-star ranking on every stage with every character. So basically, you need to beat Mercenaries 100%. But let me tell you, once you do, it is extremely worth it. I guarantee you, that is exactly the same Magnum from Resident Evil Remake. It looks almost like Barry's Magnum. And in Resident Evil 0, they make a reference to the Handcannon, sort of, leading up to it. Alright, and just how Leon holds it, you know he's badass with it. Alright, let's test it out. Alright, here's yet another weapon that changes the description once it's fully upgraded. This 50 Magnum now fires infinite bullets. You gotta love it. And yes, you do. Look at that. The firepower is at its maximum limit, and the capacity is infinite. So, this Magnum in general is free from the merchant, but the upgrades cost over 700,000 pesetas. So, basically, it's almost just like the Infinite Rocket Launcher and Chicago Typewriter when it comes to money cost. But anyway, once you have it like this is one fun weapon to have, I swear. Alright, I know for dang sure it's only gonna take 2 shots when fully upgraded, because I've realized no matter what, Betoris Mendez has to split first before you can kill him, even with the Infinite Rocket Launcher. So, I know inevitably it's gonna take 2 shots, but when it comes to unupgraded, it may take more than that. So let's test the unupgraded Handcannon on Betoris Mendez. Alright, so 5 shots total to take down the Big Cheese with the Handcannon completely non-upgraded. Well, since it took 5 shots, I guess I'll test it fully upgraded on Betoris Mendez. I just know it's gonna take 2. Watch. Who called it? Your man Shankster94, aka the Gamer Shankster. Alright, so only 2 shots. That's the minimum amount to defeat the Big Cheese. So there you go. This is one badass weapon to have. Once fully upgraded, you're probably unstoppable. Alright, before we conclude the magnums, I'm gonna do my awesome tradition, taking the most powerful magnum, fully upgraded, which is this, the Handcannon, to a regular standard Ganado lady's head and exploding it to shit! Headshot! Alright, that is it for the Handcannon, and that is it for the magnums. Alright, we're moving into the shotguns, and the first one is just called Shotgun, just like a lot of Resident Evil games call their first shotgun. A 12-gauge pump-action shotgun. Don't leave home without it. Okay. Alright, the shotgun's description changes when it's fully upgraded. Now possess the same destructive power from all distances. Sounds like a winner to me. Alright, so basically what that means is now the same thing should happen if you fire it at long range than if you fire it at short range. Okay, in my original version, I tested the shotguns on regular granados, and in this version, I was gonna move up to zealots, but I think a better enemy might be a novistador. Alright, 6 shots from the shotgun to take down a novistador, fully unupgraded. Luckily it wasn't any more because I didn't have any shotgun ammo right there. So if it would have been more, I would have been screwed. But anyway, there's the unupgraded shotgun. Now let's try it fully upgraded and we'll shoot it from a distance. Alright, so only 3 shots from the shotgun to take down a novistador when fully upgraded, and that's from a medium to long range. If I was at close range, it might have only taken 2 or 1. I don't know. Alright, just like the Punisher and the Broken Butterfly, you can get the shotgun for free. It's in the very first chapter when you make it to the village. It's in the 2-story cabin. It's on a pallet on a wall. Alright, that is it for the shotgun. Alright, now for the next shotgun, the Riot gun. This pump-action shotgun is effective even at long distances. Okay, and the description used to be different in the previous versions. I know it was. I can't remember what it said, but it was definitely different. Alright, let's test the Riot gun out. Alright, so it behaves exactly like the previous shotgun. Let's see if the damage is any different when tested on a novistador. So 5 shots from the Riot gun to take down a novistador, unupgraded. Now let's try upgraded. Alright, only 3 shots from the Riot gun to take down a novistador, fully upgraded. Alright, that proves that this shotgun is more powerful than the original shotgun, especially when fully upgraded. I'm not sure if the original shotgun has anything over the Riot gun. The only thing is it has 1 bullet more. That's the only thing I could see. But the distance thing may be the only difference. I'm not sure. But anyway, that is it for the Riot gun.